I just got my most recent TCG order in and I want to open it up for you. I'm doing 2 upgrades. None of these are specs in here, but I had one commander deck that I proxied up. I play tested it for a while and I've decided that I want to commit to it. And I've got another deck that I have had built for like 6 years and maybe haven't touched in like 4 or 5. And it's a creature type deck. So there were a ton of cards for me to add to it in preparation for Vegas Magic Con, which Jake and I'll be at, and the MTG Summit in Salt Lake City at the end of October, which we will also be at. So give me a second to thank our patrons for helping us on our road to do this as our full-time job. And when we get back, we'll look at my TCG player order.
Highest level of gratitude to our patrons who power the channel through Patreon. Check out the Patreon link in the description to learn about monthly giveaways, VIP Discord access, and even our official playmat.
All right, let's take a look at what we have got here. Like I said, I'm getting ready for Vegas at the end of September, and then we've got Summit. Ooh, Realm Breaker. We got Summit happening at the end of October, and so I just wanted to make sure that all of my decks were upgraded, ready, and in exactly the shape that I wanted them before we get started. So we'll start by getting some of these sorted out. We got 2 different piles, and you can kind of see what I was going for with a lot of these. Oh, I lied. There's a random one for a different deck. Same there. These all go here. These are all, oh baby. No, gotta have the matching basics. That's how you do a theme deck. Got some shiny stuff there too. All right, so the very first deck that I got stuff for this go around was Rona, Herald of the Invasion. This deck is kind of a theme deck for me. Built very strong, don't get me wrong, but it is a reanimator, looter, all completely themed around the invasion. And so I'm trying to get Sheoldred and Jin-Gitaxias in every form into the graveyard so that we can get them reanimated up. So I got the pimp version of the commander for this, and I also wanted to get matching basics. And so I went for these. I overshot a little bit on how many basics I've got in the deck right now, but I just wanted to stay safe. Ooh, these are going to look so nice in this invasion deck. It's all themed, like I said, to the invasion of the multiverse. That's why we're running Realm Breaker, the invasion tree. We also, because Sheoldred and Jin-Gitaxias are our main 2 bad guys, reanimator targets in this deck, had to pick up extendos. Got a little nick there. Don't love that. Had to pick up 2 extendos of the new Black and Blue Suns Twilight, because both of them are relevant in Commander. Second thing, I have not touched my Edgar Markov deck in years. And there have been so many good cards and reprints in the case of Patriarch's Bidding here. Got that etched. Ooh, loving that. But had to pick up some of the better vampires too. There have been a lot of vampires to come out that are very good in the Edgar Markov deck, especially in the last couple years. And I had just not touched this deck at all. I mean, 2 mana, choose a creature type for the vampire deck. This is going to be good in a lot of different decks, honestly. But in the vampire deck in particular, They Shall Know No Fear, I just feel like this is such a good card. And it's fairly hard to reprint because it was in that Warhammer deck. Let me know if you think this is one that they can just reprint wherever and it doesn't matter that it's in license or not. I mean, just stuff like this. Basic, Anthem, uncommon stuff. Get it in the most pimp version I can. Love how dark this one is. It's really, really crazy dark, but I think that's going to look good in the vampire deck. Had to get Edgar. Other version of it. Got a little Anthem on the front. Transforms into his coffin on the back. Don't love the frame, but I really love the art on the coffin here. The art on Edgar's pretty solid too. Don't have to like the frame to like the art. That's just the ones that I wanted for this deck. Thirsting Bloodlord, just stuff that you can't imagine why I don't have it in the vampire deck, because I haven't touched it in years. Down to like Vampire of the Dire Moon. It's one of the few commander decks where I want to play low CMC creatures as much as humanly possible, as much as vampirely possible. because a lot of them, 2 mana, other vampires you control get +1/+1. My Edgar Markov deck is just going to be pumping the vampires and running them out there. Gotta love the win con. It's a solid win con. I've been using this as a Prosh win con forever because you can tap all of the Cobalt tokens that Prosh creates and deal 3 times the number of tapped creatures. You can just ace one player, but every single time you make a vampire, you make a vampire, so why not? More protection for them. This was one of the more expensive cards I ordered this go around. Clever Concealment, I just think is going to be so strong for commander decks going forward. 4 mana, and you can convoke it out. Any number of target non-land permanents you control phase out. Just phase your whole board out in response to really anything negative happening that you don't want to happen, and you're good to go. Got it in the extended because, surprisingly, it's a little bit cheaper right now than the main version, or not surprisingly. That's kind of been a weird trend, but this was the one I picked up. I think this card is just going to keep climbing until it is reprinted. Pact of the Serpent, supposed to be in an elf deck, or it was printed in an elf deck anyway. I can choose Vampire, either draw cards myself, lose X life, or have a player lose X life, basically, where X is how many vampires I've got. Shared Animosity, big attacking creature deck, creature type card. Each other attacking creatures giving +1/+0 to your attacking creatures as long as it's the same creature type. So good in this Edgar deck. This Edgar deck has been sort of reworked to just be absolute aggro, go as quickly as possible. Really good in 2-headed giant because it can put a ton of pressure on while my teammates trying to do their thing as well. Doesn't really need too much of a babysitter because it rebuilds really well. Just goes. Florian, love this. Look at the top X cards. You can exile one. You can cast the exiled one. Beautiful. Got some of those black and white cards. I thought they'd look good for the commander, the vampire commander. Honestly, gotta say, in person, I don't like these as much as I thought I would. I'm gonna hold on to them for a while. I'm not gonna replace them right now. They're just gonna be fine inclusions in this deck, but I might replace them eventually. In hand, these just aren't doing it for me. The gold ones anyway. Now this one, all black and white with the color symbol on there, that's a really good one. That one I can get behind. It's like the black ones and the white ones are solid. Look at that. There's a foil etched there, isn't there? I think I ordered the foil etched on this one. It's very difficult. I'm trying to get it to show up in camera. Anyway, upgraded my Edgar Markov, upgraded my Rona, Herald of the Invasion. So I'm getting ready for some cons, getting ready to play. These are the 2 cards. I've got 2 different places these are going to go. One, I've got an all retro frame deck. It's that Urza Commander that came out with Brothers War that was all retro. That was my starting place. I just upgraded it with a bunch of the best old retro frame cards that I could find. I finally got a good price on this Urza Lord High Artificer. Wanted the wanted the retro frame for the all retro Urza deck. So that's an automatic perfect inclusion in there. Then Felden of the Third Path. I've got a Dahada deck that I'm trying to finish off and make sure I've got with me at Vegas because I've been talking about it so much. It's proxied up. That's the same thing I did with the Rona deck, is I proxied it up to see if I would like it and ended up loving it. It's one of my favorite new decks this year. For some reason, I'm in this huge reanimator phase. And so now I'm just like starting to replace the cards that I proxied because I ended up really liking the deck. And it's something that I wanted to complete in paper. I especially like my little sub-theme there of I can only use Jingataxiuses and Shieldreds. I've got all the different versions in that deck. So yeah, doing a little upgrading. This is what I'm purchasing right now. Got most of these for decent prices. I think the big takeaway as far as what I can recommend is go check out Dominaria Remastered. Dominaria Remastered has got a lot of really good cards in it, and they are starting to get down to a price where they're not that bad. You can get some good cards and some cool frames and treatments, and people have mostly forgotten about it at this point because Magic moves fast. And if you don't stop once in a while to take a good look around, might just pass you by. Let me know down in the comments what you've been ordering recently, if you're specking on some cards or if you're going back to some old sets that maybe people have forgotten. Hit that subscribe button. Only 30% of the people that watch this statistically are subscribed to our channel. It really does help us. Other than that, I'm tapped out. I'll catch you later.